Emma Torres checked her reflection in the bathroom mirror one last time before heading to her desk. Her dark brown hair was pulled into a neat bun, her gray blazer pressed perfectly, and her smile practiced to hide the exhaustion she felt deep in her bones. At 28 years old, she had spent the last 2 years working as an executive assistant at Pierce Industries, a tech company that had grown from a startup to a major player in the software industry. Her boss, Nathan Pierce, was the kind, a man who commanded attention the moment he walked into a room. Nathan was 36, tall with dark hair that was always styled impeccably, sharp blue eyes that missed nothing in business negotiations, and a presence that made investors eager to shake his hand. He was brilliant, driven, and had built his company from nothing into something worth hundreds of millions. Everyone respected him. Everyone wanted his time and attention. Everyone except Emma seemed to receive it. She arrived at the office every morning at 7:30, a full hour before anyone else, organized Nathan's schedule with precision, anticipated his needs before he voiced them, and handled crises with calm efficiency. She had saved the company from scheduling disasters, caught errors in contracts that could have cost them millions, and managed relationships with difficult clients who only she seemed able to soothe. Yet, Nathan walked past her desk every single morning without a word. No greeting, no acknowledgement, nothing. At first, Emma thought it was just his personality. Some executives were like that, too focused on the big picture to notice the details. But as weeks turned into months and months into years, she realized it was different with her. Nathan spoke to other employees. He thanked the janitorial staff. He complimented the intern who brought him coffee. But with Emma, there was only silence. It hurt in ways she could not fully explain. Emma poured her heart into her work, stayed late countless nights, and sacrificed weekends to make sure everything ran smoothly. She told herself the paycheck was good, that she was building her resume, that it did not matter if her boss never saw her as a person. But late at night, alone in her small apartment, she wondered what was wrong with her. Why was she so easy to ignore? Her best friend Sophia had heard enough. They sat in their favorite wine bar on a Wednesday evening, and Emma found herself crying into her glass about another day of being invisible. "You need to stop letting that man define your worth," Sophia said firmly, reaching across the table to squeeze Emma's hand. "You are brilliant, beautiful, and kind. If Nathan Pierce is too blind to see that, then forget him. You need to remember who you are outside of that office." "I do not even know anymore," Emma admitted quietly. "I feel like I've disappeared." "Then we are going to fix that," Sophia declared. "It's this Saturday. You and I are going out. No excuses. You're going to wear something that makes you feel amazing. And you are going to remember that you exist beyond those office walls," Emma wanted to refuse, but something in Sophia's fierce expression made her nod. Maybe her friend was right. Maybe she needed to stop waiting for Nathan to notice her and start living her own life. Saturday arrived with unusually warm weather. Emma chose a soft blue dress that brought out the warmth in her brown eyes. Left her hair down in loose waves, and actually felt pretty for the first time in months. Sophia whistled when she picked her up. "Now that is the Emma I know," she said with a grin. "Let us go remind the world you exist." They ended up at a popular coffee shop that transformed into a wine bar in the evenings. The atmosphere was relaxed and welcoming, with live acoustic music playing in the corner. Emma started to feel the tension leave her shoulders as she sipped her wine and actually laughed at Sophia's stories about her latest dating disasters. "I am going to grab us some snacks," Sophia announced, heading toward the counter. Emma pulled out her phone to check her messages, a habit she could not break even on her days off. She was so focused on her screen that she did not notice someone approaching until a voice spoke beside her. "Is this seat taken?" Emma looked up to find a man standing next to her table. He was handsome in an easy, approachable way, with light brown hair, green eyes, and a friendly smile that reached all the way to his eyes. He wore jeans and a casual button-down shirt, and everything about him seemed relaxed and genuine. "Oh no, my friend just stepped away for a moment," Emma said, then realized he was asking to join them. "I mean, you can sit if you would like." "I am Ryan," he said, extending his hand as he sat down. "Ryan Blake." "Emma Torres," she replied, shaking his hand and feeling a flutter of nervousness. When was the last time an attractive man had approached her? "I hope this is not too forward, but I noticed you from across the room," Ryan said. "You have a beautiful smile." I had to come over and introduce myself. Emma felt her cheeks warm. "Thank you. That is very kind." They fell into conversation easily. Ryan worked in marketing for a local firm, loved hiking on weekends, and had a quick sense of humor that made Emma laugh genuinely for the first time in weeks. He asked questions about her life, seemed interested in her answers. It made her feel seen in a way she had forgotten was possible. When Sophia returned and saw what was happening, she gave Emma a subtle thumbs up and made an excuse about needing to call her boyfriend, leaving Emma and Ryan to talk. 2 hours passed like minutes. Ryan was attentive and charming, complimenting Emma in ways that felt sincere rather than rehearsed. He asked for her number before the evening ended, and Emma found herself saying yes without hesitation. I would really like to see you again," Ryan said as they stood outside the coffee shop. "Maybe dinner this week?" "I would like that," Emma replied, and she meant it, as she rode home with Sophia that night. Emma felt something she had not felt in 2 years. Hope. Maybe there was life beyond being invisible. Maybe she could be someone who mattered to another person. Maybe she deserved to be seen. Her phone buzzed with a text from Ryan. "Had an amazing time tonight. Cannot wait to see you again." Emma smiled as she typed back a response. For the first time in forever, she went to sleep feeling like she existed as more than just a ghost in Nathan Pierce's office. She existed as Emma, a woman who was worthy of attention and affection. She had no idea that everything was about to change in ways she could never have imagined. The invisible woman was about to become impossible to ignore. Emma found herself smiling at her phone more than usual over the next 2 weeks. Ryan texted her every morning with cheerful messages, asked about her day during lunch breaks, and called her every evening to talk about everything and nothing. It felt wonderful to have someone who wanted to hear her voice, who remembered small details she mentioned, who made her feel like she mattered. They went on 3 dates in those 2 weeks. Dinner at an Italian restaurant where Ryan insisted on ordering wine that cost more than Emma would have spent, a movie followed by dessert at a trendy bakery, walk through the botanical gardens, where Ryan held her hand and took several photos of them together. "You look beautiful in this light," he said, snapping another picture. "I want to remember this moment." Emma felt herself falling into the attention like someone who had been starving finally finding food. After 2 years of being invisible at work, having someone who actively sought her out felt intoxicating. She ignored the small voice in her head that whispered warnings when Ryan checked her location on his phone, or when he asked detailed questions about her coworkers, or when he pouted if she took too long to respond to his messages. "I just care about you," he would say with that charming smile. "Is that so wrong?" By the 3rd week, Ryan had started a new habit. He would pick Emma up from work, waiting outside Pierce Industries in his car, always with that wide smile when she emerged from the building. At first, Emma appreciated the gesture. It was nice to have someone waiting for her, to not take the bus home alone. "You work too hard," Ryan would say, pulling her close for a kiss before opening the car door for her. "Someone needs to take care of you." It was a Friday afternoon when everything changed. Emma had stayed late to finish a presentation that Nathan needed for Monday morning. She had pored over every slide, checked every number 3 times, and formatted everything to perfection. As always, she received no acknowledgement from Nathan beyond a brief email that said "only received." She gathered her things at 6:15, exhausted but satisfied with her work. When she stepped outside, Ryan was already there, leaning against his car with flowers in his hand. "For my beautiful girlfriend," he said, handing her the bouquet of roses. "Ryan, these are lovely," Emma said, genuinely touched despite her tiredness. "You did not have to do this." "I wanted to," he replied, then pulled her close. "I missed you today." Before Emma could respond, Ryan cupped her face with both hands and kissed her deeply. It was not a gentle kiss or a private moment. It was intense and public. Right there on the sidewalk in front of her office building, where colleagues were still leaving for the day. Emma felt her face flush with embarrassment as she noticed several coworkers glancing their way. She tried to pull back gently, uncomfortable with such a display, but Ryan held her firmly, one hand moving to her waist possessively. The kiss lasted several seconds longer than Emma wanted. When he finally released her, she saw something in his eyes that made her uneasy. Satisfaction, almost like he was proving a point. "Ryan," she whispered, "people are watching." "Let them watch," he said loudly enough for others to hear. I am not ashamed to show the world that you are mine. Emma forced a smile, but something about his words bothered her. You are mine. Not we are together. Not I care about you, but you are mine. Like she was a possession rather than a person. What Emma did not see, because her back was turned toward the building, was Nathan Pierce, standing just inside the glass doors, briefcase in hand, frozen in place. Nathan had been heading to his car, his mind occupied with the investor meeting scheduled for Monday, when movement outside caught his eye. He glanced up automatically and felt his entire world tilt on its axis. Emma. His Emma, though she was not his at all, that was the problem. She stood on the sidewalk in a gray dress that somehow made her look softer than the business attire she usually wore. Her dark hair, which she always kept in that severe bun at work, was loose and falling in waves past her shoulders. But it was not just her appearance that struck him. It was the way she smiled, genuinely smiled, at the man who was kissing her with an intensity that made Nathan's chest tighten painfully. He watched as the man's hands moved possessively on Emma's waist, pulling her closer. Watched as Emma seemed to try to pull away, but was held in place. Watched as the stranger claimed her mouth. It's like he had every right to do so. Something dark and violent erupted in Nathan's chest. It felt like acid burning through his veins, like his lungs had forgotten how to process air. His hand gripped his briefcase so tightly that his knuckles turned white. His jaw clenched so hard he thought his teeth might crack. Jealousy. Raw, irrational, all-consuming jealousy. Nathan had spent 2 years carefully avoiding Emma Torres. 2 years maintaining professional distance because from the moment she walked into his office for her interview, he had known she was dangerous. She had looked at him with those warm brown eyes, smiled that genuine smile. And he had felt something shift inside him that terrified him. He had just ended a relationship with someone who wanted his money more than she wanted him. He had sworn off workplace relationships entirely. He had built walls around himself and his company, determined to focus only on success and growth. Emma Torres threatened all of that simply by existing, so he had ignored her, treated her like furniture, pretended she did not make his heart race every time she walked past his office. Convinced himself that distance was safety, but seeing her in another man's arms shattered every wall Nathan had built. He realized with stunning clarity that he had not been protecting himself from Emma. He had been denying himself the one person who had ever made him feel truly alive. And now someone else had her. Nathan stood there long after Emma, and the man drove away. His breathing uneven, his mind racing. He had been a fool, a coward, had treated Emma like she was invisible when the truth was, she had been the only thing he could see for 2 years. He had just been too afraid to admit it. Monday morning arrived with unusual tension. Emma felt it the moment she stepped off the elevator. The office seemed quieter than normal, the air heavier somehow. She set down her bag at her desk and started her usual routine of organizing Nathan's schedule and preparing his morning briefing. She was so focused on her work that she jumped when a voice spoke directly beside her. "Good morning, Emma." Her head snapped up. Nathan stood next to her desk, looking directly at her with an intensity she had never seen before. His blue eyes were fixed on her face like he was memorizing every detail. "Good morning, Mr. Pierce," Emma managed to say, her heart suddenly racing. In 2 years, Nathan had never greeted her specifically, never said her name with such deliberate clarity. "Did you have a good weekend?" he asked, making no move to walk away. Emma blinked, completely thrown off balance. Thank you? And you?" "It was enlightening," Nathan said cryptically, then did something that made Emma's world tilt. He smiled at her. Actually smiled, and it transformed his entire face. "I reviewed the presentation you prepared Friday. It was exceptional work. Exactly what we needed." Emma felt heat rise to her cheeks. "Thank you. I am glad it met your expectations." "It exceeded them," Nathan said firmly. "Your attention to detail is remarkable, Emma. I should have said so long before now." Before she could formulate a response, Nathan walked into his office, leaving Emma staring after him in complete confusion. What had just happened? The strangeness continued throughout the day. Nathan emerged from his office multiple times, each time finding a reason to stop at Emma's desk. He asked her opinion on a contract clause, requested her thoughts on scheduling conflicts. He actually listened when she spoke. His full attention focused on her in a way that made her nervous and excited at the same time. By Wednesday, Emma realized something fundamental had shifted. Nathan was not just being polite. He was actively seeking her out, creating opportunities to interact with her. He remembered details she mentioned in passing. He brought her coffee the way she liked it without being asked. She was a person rather than a piece of office equipment. It was everything Emma had wanted for 2 years. So why did it feel so unsettling now? Her phone buzzed with another text from Ryan. "Who are you talking to? You have been quiet today." Emma frowned. She had replied to his last message only 20 minutes ago. "Just busy with work? Too busy for me?" came the immediate response, followed by a sad face emoji. Emma sighed, feeling that familiar knot of guilt forming in her stomach. Ryan had been increasingly demanding of her time and attention. He wanted to know where she was constantly, who she was with, what she was doing. When she did not respond immediately, he became sulky and passive-aggressive. "Never too busy for you," she typed back, even though it felt like a lie. That evening, Ryan picked her up as usual. But this time, Emma noticed how his eyes scanned the building entrance carefully, like he was looking for something. Or someone... "Your boss working late again?" Ryan asked casually as they drove away. "I suppose so," Emma said. "Why do you ask?" "Just curious about the kind of man who keeps his assistant working so many extra hours," Ryan said. But there was an edge to his voice. "Seems inconsiderate." "He pays me well for the extra time," Emma replied, feeling defensive in a way she could not quite explain. Ryan's hand tightened on the steering wheel. "I have been thinking, maybe you should look for a different job. Somewhere that respects your time more. Somewhere you would not be so stressed." Emma turned to look at him fully. "I like my job, Ryan, do you?" he challenged. "Or do you just like the attention you are suddenly getting from your boss?" The accusation hung in the air between them, sharp and ugly. Emma felt her stomach drop. "What are you talking about?" "I see the way he looks at you now," Ryan said, his voice tight. "I am not blind, Emma. Something changed. He used to ignore you, and now suddenly he cannot seem to leave you alone." "Hey, it's just being more professional," Emma said, but even she could hear how weak that sounded. "Professional," Ryan repeated with a harsh laugh. "Is that what you call it?" "Emma, I am not stupid. That man wants you. I think part of you wants him too." "Ryan, stop the car. We need to talk about this." "Stop the car now," Emma said firmly, her heart pounding. Ryan pulled over abruptly, and Emma got out, needing air and space. He followed her, grabbing her arm. "I am sorry," he said quickly, his tone shifting to pleading. "I just care about you so much. I cannot stand the thought of losing you to someone else." "You mean everything to me, Emma. Everything." Emma looked at his face and saw desperation there. She also saw something else, control. Ryan did not love her. He wanted to own her. She had been so hungry for attention that she had missed all the warning signs. "I need some time," she said quietly, pulling her arm free. "I will take the bus home tonight, Emma, please." But she was already walking away, her phone in her hand calling for a ride. Behind her, she heard Ryan get back in his car and drive off with squealing tires. Emma stood on the sidewalk, shaking, finally seeing clearly. She had run from feeling invisible straight into the arms of someone who wanted to make her disappear in a different way. And now Nathan, the man who had ignored her for 2 years, suddenly saw her completely. She did not know what any of it meant. But she knew everything was about to get much more complicated. Emma barely slept that night. She lay in bed replaying everything, Ryan's accusations, Nathan's sudden attention, the confusion of it all. By the time her alarm went off Thursday morning, she had made a decision. She needed to end things with Ryan properly and figure out what was really happening with Nathan before her life spiraled completely out of control. She arrived at the office early as always, but this time found Nathan already there. Standing by her desk with 2 cups of coffee. "I noticed you take yours with cream and 1 sugar, he said, offering her one of the cups. "I hope I got it right." "Yeah." Emma took the coffee automatically, too surprised to refuse. "You did. Thank you." Nathan did not move away. Instead, he leaned against her desk in a gesture that was almost casual, except for the intensity in his blue eyes. "Emma, can we talk? Actually talk, not just about work." "I suppose so," Emma said carefully, setting down her bag. "I owe you an apology," Nathan began, and the words seemed to cost him something. "A massive apology, actually. For 2 years, I treated you abominably. I ignored you, dismissed you, acted like you were invisible, when the truth is, You were the only person I could see. Emma felt her breath catch. I do not understand. Nathan ran a hand through his dark hair, a gesture of frustration she had never seen from him before. When you started working here, I'd just gotten out of a relationship with someone who wanted my money and status more than she wanted me. I swore I would not get involved with anyone at the company, that I would focus only on building the business. Then you walked in for your interview, and I felt something I had not felt in years. Something real. He paused, looking directly into her eyes. It terrified me, Emma, so I did the only thing I thought I could do. I built walls. I pretended you did not exist, because acknowledging you meant acknowledging what I felt. And I was too much of a coward to deal with that. Emma's heart was pounding so hard she could hear it in her ears. For 2 years, you made me feel worthless. I know, Nathan said, and there was genuine pain in his voice. I know, and I hate myself for it. You deserved so much better than that. You deserved to be seen and valued and appreciated every single day. Instead, I hurt you because I was afraid. What changed? Emma asked quietly. Nathan's jaw tightened. I saw you with him. That man who picks you up. I saw him kiss you. Saw how he held you, and something broke inside me. I realized I had wasted 2 years being afraid when I should have been honest. I realized someone else was giving you the attention I should have been giving you all along. His name is Ryan, Emma said. And it is complicated. Is he good to you? Nathan asked, and there was something fierce in the question. Emma thought about Ryan's constant texts, his need to know her location at all times, the way he made her feel guilty for having her own life. I thought he was at first. He paid attention to me when no one else did. He made me feel visible. But, Nathan prompted gently, but I think he wants to control me more than he wants to know me, Emma admitted. And I think I was so desperate to be seen that I did not notice the warning signs until recently. Nathan took a step closer, and Emma could smell his cologne, something expensive and subtle. Emma, I cannot tell you what to do with your personal life, but I need you to know something. I see you. I have always seen you. Your intelligence, your dedication, your kindness to everyone, even when they do not deserve it. The way you solve problems before they become crises. The way you remember everyone's birthday and coffee order. The way you light up a room just by being in it. Emma felt tears prick her eyes. You have a strange way of showing it. I know, Nathan said softly, and I do not expect you to forgive me immediately. I do not expect anything from you at all. But I want the chance to prove that I can be better, that I can be the man who deserves someone like you. Before Emma could respond, her phone rang. Ryan's number flashed on the screen. She looked at it, then at Nathan, and made a choice. She let it go to voicemail. I need to handle some things, Emma said quietly. I need to be honest with Ryan and figure out what I actually want. Take all the time you need, Nathan said. I will be here. And Emma, you will not be invisible to me ever again. That is a promise. The rest of the day passed in a blur. Emma tried to focus on work, but her mind kept wandering to Nathan's words and Ryan's increasingly frantic texts. By the time 5 o'clock arrived, she had 17 missed calls and 32 text messages. Emma, we need to talk. Why are you ignoring me? I am coming to your office. You cannot just shut me out like this. The last message made Emma's stomach drop. She looked up just as the elevator doors opened, and Ryan stepped out, his face stormy. Ryan, what are you doing here? Emma stood up quickly, very aware that they were in her workplace. You've been ignoring me all day, Ryan said loudly, drawing attention from nearby coworkers. What is going on, Emma? Is it him? Is it your boss? Ryan, please keep your voice down, Emma said, feeling her face flush with embarrassment. I will not keep my voice down, Ryan snapped. I deserve answers. Are you cheating on me with him? We need to talk, but not here, Emma said firmly. No, we talk now, Ryan insisted, moving closer. I have been patient with you, Emma. I have been understanding about your long hours and your stress, but I see what is happening. He wants you, and you are letting it happen. That is not what is happening, Emma said, but her voice wavered. Then what is it? Ryan demanded. Tell me right now that there is nothing going on between you and Nathan Pierce. The use of Nathan's full name. The accusation in Ryan's voice, the way he was towering over her, It all made something snap inside Emma. She saw clearly in that moment what she had been avoiding for weeks. Ryan did not love her. He wanted to possess her. And she had let him because she was so desperate to be seen by someone, anyone. You need to leave, Emma said quietly but firmly. What? You need to leave now, Ryan. This is my workplace, and you are making a scene. I am making a scene. Ryan's voice rose even higher. I am trying to save our relationship and you are throwing it away for your boss. Is there a problem here? Nathan's voice cut through the tension like a knife. He emerged from his office, his expression cold and controlled, but Emma could see the anger simmering beneath the surface. This does not concern you, Ryan said, but he took a step back instinctively. When someone is harassing my employee in my office, it absolutely concerns me, Nathan said, his voice deadly calm. I am going to ask you once to leave. If you refuse, I will call security. Your employee, Ryan laughed bitterly. Is that what she is? Because it seems like she means a lot more to you than that. What Emma means to me is none of your business, Nathan said, moving to stand between Ryan and Emma. But what is my business is ensuring she feels safe at work. You are making her uncomfortable, and you are going to leave now. Ryan looked at Emma, and she saw betrayal in his eyes. So that is it? You are choosing him? I am choosing myself, Emma said, and the words felt powerful in her mouth. Ryan, we are done. You do not respect my boundaries. You try to control everything I do, and you make me feel guilty for having my own life. That is not love. That is possession. You will regret this, Ryan said, his face flushing red. When he gets tired of you. When you realize he is just like every other rich man who thinks he can have whatever he wants. You will regret throwing away what we had. I think you need to leave now, Nathan said, pulling out his phone. Or I make that call to security. Ryan glared at both of them, then turned and walked to the elevator. But before the doors closed, he looked back at Emma one last time. You were nothing before me. You will be nothing after me. The words were meant to hurt, but instead they just made Emma feel free. Because she knew they were not true. She had never been nothing. She had just let herself believe she was. After Ryan left, Emma sank into her chair, shaking. Nathan crouched down beside her, his hand hovering near hers, but not quite touching. Are you okay? He asked gently. Think so, Emma said. I should have ended that weeks ago. It was not good enough for you, Nathan said. But that is not my place to say. Emma looked at him, really looked at him. She saw concern in his blue eyes and care and something deeper that made her breath catch. Nathan, I need time. I need to figure out who I am outside of being invisible or being someone's possession. I need to learn to see myself clearly. I understand, Nathan said, and he did. Take all the time you need, Emma. I am not going anywhere. But things cannot go back to how they were before, Emma said firmly. I will not be ignored again. I will not accept being treated as less than I am worth. Good, Nathan said with a small smile. You should not, and I will never ask you to. The weeks that followed were different. Nathan kept his promise. He did not ignore Emma, but he also did not push for anything more than professional respect. He valued her opinions in meetings, gave her credit for her ideas, and treated her like the competent professional she was. But there were moments, small moments, that made Emma's heart race. When Nathan brought her coffee without being asked, when he smiled at her across a conference room, when their hands brushed reaching for the same document, and they both pulled back like they had been burned. Emma used that time to rediscover herself. She started going to yoga classes with Sophia. She took a weekend trip to the mountains just because she wanted to. She started saying no to things that did not serve her, and yes to things that brought her joy. She learned that being alone was different from being lonely. 2 months after the confrontation with Ryan, Emma found herself working late on a Friday night. Most of the office had cleared out, but she wanted to finish a project before the weekend. She was so focused that she did not notice Nathan standing in the doorway of his office until he spoke. You are still here. Emma looked up and smiled. So are you. I was just finishing up, Nathan said. Emma, can I ask you something? Course. Nathan walked over to her desk, and Emma noticed he seemed nervous, which was unusual for him. I know you said you needed time. I know I have hurt you, and that trust needs to be earned. But I have to know. Is there any chance, any possibility, that someday you might be willing to give me a real chance? Not as your boss, but as a man who sees you completely and wants to know every part of you? Emma felt her heart skip. She had been expecting this question, had been preparing for it, but now that it was here, she found herself nervous too. "I do not know," she said honestly. "You hurt me deeply, Nathan. For 2 years, you made me feel invisible and worthless. That does not just go away." "I know," Nathan said quietly. But Emma continued, "I have also seen you change. I have seen you work to be better, to treat me with respect. I have seen you give me space when I asked for it. That matters." "So what does that mean?" Nathan asked, hope flickering in his eyes. "It means I am willing to try," Emma said slowly. "Not jumping into anything, not rushing, but maybe we could start with dinner, a real dinner where we are just two people getting to know each other." Nathan's face broke into a genuine smile, the kind that transformed his entire appearance. "I would like that very much. But I need you to understand something," Emma said firmly. "I'm not the same woman who started working here 2 years ago. I know my worth now. I will not accept being treated as anything less than an equal partner. I will not be anyone's secret or anyone's possession." "I would not want you any other way," Nathan said. "Emma Torres, you are brilliant and strong and deserve someone who sees that every single day. I want to be that person, if you will let me." Emma stood up, gathering her courage. "Then let us start there. Dinner tomorrow night. As equals. As two people seeing if there is something real between them." "As equals," Nathan agreed, extending his hand. Emma shook it, feeling the warmth of his palm against hers, and for the first time in years, she felt truly seen. Not because someone else was looking at her, but because she had finally learned to see herself. 6 months later, Emma sat in a different restaurant with Nathan across from her. They had taken things slowly, building a foundation of trust and respect. They had talked for hours about their pasts, their fears, their dreams. Nathan had proven himself through consistent actions, showing up not just when it was convenient, but when it was hard. "I have something to tell you," Emma said, setting down her wine glass. Nathan looked concerned. "What is it?" "Got a job offer," Emma said. "From Harrison Tech. They want me as their director of operations." Nathan's expression flickered with something that might have been pain, but he quickly controlled it. "That is a fantastic opportunity, Emma. You would be amazing at it." "I turned it down," Emma said quietly. "What? Why?" "Because I realized something," Emma said, reaching across the table to take Nathan's hand. "I am not running anymore. Not from challenges, not from feelings, not from anything. I am staying at Pierce Industries because I want to, not because I feel trapped. I am staying because I love my work. I love the team we have built, and I love you." It was the first time either of them had said those words out loud. Nathan's grip on her hand tightened. "You love me?" he asked softly. "I do," Emma said, meeting his eyes without fear. "I love the man you are now, the man you have worked to become. Not the man who ignored me for 2 years, but the man who admitted his mistakes and changed. The man who sees me as an equal and treats me like one." "I love you too," Nathan said, his voice rough with emotion. "I have loved you from the beginning. I was just too afraid to admit it. But I am not afraid anymore." "Good," Emma said with a smile, "because I am not invisible anymore. It's not to you, and more importantly, not to myself." They left the restaurant hand in hand, to people who had found each other by almost losing each other completely. Emma knew their story was not a fairy tale. It would have challenges ahead, moments of doubt and difficulty. But she also knew that she had found something real, something built on truth and respect and genuine care. She was no longer the invisible assistant. She was Emma Torres, a woman who knew her worth and refused to settle for less than she deserved. And Nathan Pierce was no longer the cold boss who hid behind walls. He was a man who had learned that true strength meant being vulnerable enough to admit when you were wrong. Together they walked into a future they were building as equals, as partners, as two people who had finally learned to see clearly. Emma had spent 2 years being invisible, but she would spend the rest of her life being undeniably beautifully seen. And that made all the difference. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this story. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to hit like. Share this story with your friends and family and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more meaningful stories.